I am Moriah Faye, and this is A Beautiful Life. Today I'm in the home of Ileah Moore, a woman who Mother Mary speaks through. I'm going to be interviewing Ileah for about 10 minutes, and then the next shot that you see will be Mother Mary speaking to you through Ileah. Welcome. Hello, Ileah. Thank you so much for being here today. This is so exciting and so enormous. Please describe to us who Mother Mary is.
Well, that's a good question because most people think of Mother Mary as the mother of Jesus, but she's actually greater than that, how I found out about her. I was channeling one day and I said, really, who are you? Because I only knew her as the mother of Jesus. And she said, well, I'm Kuan Yin, I'm Diana, I'm Ashtarte, I'm the white buffalo calf woman. In other words, she's the feminine face of God, and that's how she's appeared to different people in different cultures at different times. So she's the Shekinah, and she's the feminine face of God. Yeah.
And how did she come to you?
Well, actually, she didn't come to me, but I had a quest because I felt that the second coming of the Christ was when we all wake up to that within ourselves.
Yes.
So I wanted to wake up to it. So I thought, who could best teach me? And most of the religions, or at least the Christian religions, they're pretty patriarchal. But then I remembered Mother Mary. I was brought up Lutheran. But I thought, gee, Mother Mary, maybe she could teach me to how to be a Christ within a woman's frame of mind, you know. So I started praying to her.
You must have been naturally drawn to her. I mean, growing up Lutheran, I was Protestant too.
Yeah.
And we weren't, I mean, that's very Catholic. Mother Mary is very much within the Catholic Church.
Yes.
So you just were probably,
she was just barely mentioned in the Bible, you know, the Virgin Mary, and then she was at the crucifixion, basically, and that was it. You know, nothing mentioned about her. But for some reason, I had this inclination toward her now.
You must have for this to come about. This is so powerful.
I would say in our country, she's not as revered as she is like in Mexico. She's Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Right.
Or you go over to Europe and, you know, what's the big cathedral in Paris? Notre Dame.
Yes,
that means Our Lady.
Yes.
And she's everywhere in Europe.
And you've traveled extensively.
Yes, I have.
Channeling her and giving people her message. And you've written this beautiful book. She's written it through you. This is a gorgeous book, ladies and gentlemen. The Teachings of Mother Mary by Ileah. Many questions. Please tell us how this came about.
Well, I was vacationing in Ibiza, Spain. It's called Ibiza, but they don't pronounce the Z in Spain. They pronounce it like a TH, so it's Ibiza, Spain. And it's like the Hawaiian Islands in the Mediterranean off of Spain. There's Formentera, and there's all sorts of islands over there. There's like 5 of them. So I was in Ibiza, and I was with a friend, and Mary came to me, and she said, I'd like you to put together a book. So I sat with my friend for 2 hours a day. He would ask the questions, and it was in a church. We actually found out we were staying on a street called the Path of Mother Mary.
Oh!
And 2 blocks up was the church.
Oh!
And I said to him, I remember saying, I'm not going to enter this church if there's a crucifixion because I'm not into that. I'm not into the pain and suffering and all that.
Yes.
And so we walked into the church, and there at the front of the church was Mother Mary holding the baby Jesus. Very unusual. Usually there's a crucifixion or a cross. And I just went, this is marvelous. So we sat in that church for 2 hours every day for 2 weeks. And just, there was the book. It was finished. It's very easy.
So just very briefly, give us some questions that are answered in this book. There's obviously...
well, there's different chapters. The first chapter is where God resides. So it takes you through an exercise on how to find and feel God within. So that's a difficult one for most people, and that's the basic. You know, if you can do that, then you're connected, you're hooked up. And you can always follow your guidance then, and it will lead you in your life. So that's the basic premise to start with. Another chapter on relationships.
Right.
I love that one. Yeah. That's the one where she talks to us a lot about giving as the key. We're all looking to get from a relationship. We don't think we are.
Need.
Or what is that, being a woman, what kind of man do I want?
Right, exactly.
We're not thinking about what we have to offer.
Men do that too. Men do that too. You know?
And so she has us turn things around. What do you have to offer?
Wonderful.
You know?
Wonderful. What does it feel like? What happens to you in the process when we are going to be shutting the cameras off and while you, Mother Mary comes into you, and then when the camera comes back on, Mother Mary will be speaking to you. What does that feel like for you? When we are watching you as Mother Mary speaking to you, what happens to you? Where do you go, or what happens?
Well, my deal with her is if I ever did channel her, which I didn't know I was going to be doing when I first started talking to her, I heard her voice. That was really special, very incredible. Then I taught myself how to channel her because I had heard of people channeling and I'd seen them channeling, and I thought, wonder how they do this. So then I decided I'd try, and I made a pact with her that I would be awake during it. So I'm a conscious channel.
Was that your decision?
Yes, because I wanted to learn.
I see.
She was coming to me. I invited her to come to me so I could learn how to awaken my own Christ spirit, my own inner God self. So I was always awake, and I am always awake. So I don't miss out on the lessons. I don't miss out on what she's telling the people.
That is wonderful.
So I eavesdrop. But I'll tell you how it feels. It feels like a chiropractic adjustment of my brain.
Oh.
So I go into prayer, I pray the rosary, and then I feel my brain kind of clicking in. I kind of leave, I kind of step back, and I feel her coming forward. And it's like I'm looking through her eyes and I'm seeing through her heart. So whoever she's talking about or talking to, I can see them like she's seen them.
Oh,
so it's very
that's
revealing.
Very special.
Very revealing and very
revealing,
special.
Yes.
It's not a bad revealing. It's really a beautiful revealing.
Yes,
I see the soul.
So big in God.
I see the expanded soul of the person. If they have a really bad glitch, which I've rarely seen, that will show up. But most of the time, people are really beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I have seen Ileah go through the process of bringing in Mary. There's extensive prayer. She really gets into praying and the rosary, and it's very, very deep and a process that she goes through. It's wonderful. This is what you're not going to see because of a time factor for us with the show. So you just mentioned that you picked her. She didn't pick you.
No.
Okay. And so you made the
as
decision.
As far as I know.
Well, I mean, you were certainly willing.
She wants me to get the message across to the people that we all can pick her. We pick her to come back to God. In whatever way that you see her, she doesn't have to be Mother Mary. She could be Kuan Yin. She could be the White Buffalo Calf Woman, whatever you relate to. And that's how God comes through all of us, is what we can relate to hear. And so...
and that's a very important message for humanity.
But
whatever they relate to, as long as there's a higher presence.
Yeah, a lot of people get kind of confused, especially in Europe. They wanted me to act like a nun, and
right.
For the people that
I can
know
imagine.
Me, I have an Annie Oakley side. I have a wild side. I love to ski. I love to drink wine. I love to enjoy my life. And I enjoy men, and I enjoy all of it.
That's great.
So I'm not a prude, and you don't have to be a prude to hear Mother Mary.
Yes,
we are real people. Live your real life. And yes, she teaches you how to live your life in more of a holy way, but it's not in the context of what we know as old and holy. And you're sitting in a little convent, and you're just sitting in your little cell.
Right.
You can have a beautiful, wonderful, happy life.
Is Mother Mary, with you all the time? Do you tap into her all the time?
I can.
Wonderful.
We all can.
Can you just
We
ask
just
her
have
questions?
to bring our attention.
Yes.
I don't trust it as far as if somebody's asking me questions, unless sometimes I'll feel her and she's here. Most of the time, it's my mind thinking, "Gee, I'll tell them what I think," rather than, So when I channel, I will pray and I will make sure it's
yes,
her.
Definitely.
If I'm talking to a friend and she comes in and she says, if she has something to say, I'll know it. But usually I won't, what I want to say, assume that she's here.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, when I had the reading with you with Mother Mary, it was most definitely Mother Mary. I was telling people about that, and she was so explicit about my particular life, that of things that you weren't aware of as Ileah, but she knew,
Yeah, she
and
does.
she knew the advice to give to me and what to focus on, and it was so beautiful.